we'll go ahead and get started since I don't see anybody on, so we'll just go from there. So 18. All right, so we'll get started with our standing technique for today, right? It's the standing guillotine defense. So if Paul's my bad guy here, right? We know that in a fight, our main priority is to avoid that knockout punch and avoid punches in general, right? And we do that by maintaining the distance, which you guys know, keeping that 2 arms length away until the opportunity presents itself where we can shoot in and get in the clinch, right? Now, we know a couple of things. One, if our clinch isn't perfect, our head may start to slip down and get us out of position. And the second thing that we know is guillotine chokes, or the idea of a headlock or wrapping your arm around someone's head, even for someone who knows absolutely nothing about martial arts, is very common. It's very, well, attempted. Well, not more than Alex did. But, so if our head ends up out of place, and because wrapping the head is so common, it would be super easy for us to end up with this choke in place. Now, even an untrained opponent knows enough to just squeeze our neck. And if we do absolutely nothing, it may take longer, but at minimum, it's going to be uncomfortable. At worst, they might be able to get enough of a squeeze of, across both of our arteries where we eventually pass out, right? So if we don't do anything, we risk, is that right?
Yeah, nope, Cora.
Okay. Thank you. So if we don't do anything, we risk passing out. Now, what the bad guy doesn't realize is that when he has us in the guillotine choke, he gives us the indicator and perfect opportunity, or indicator to execute today's standing technique, the guillotine defense, and execute phase 2 of the fight, which is execute the takedown, okay? So I'm gonna show you what it looks like once, and then we'll break it down in detail, okay? All right. So our starting position for today is going to be with the headlock already established. We're going to assume, and we talk about in a future class you guys have already taken, we talk about the clinch strategies and how to close that distance, but we're going to start with that guillotine already in place, okay? And all that we're doing is, let's rotate this way. All that we're doing is this, all right? We're going to grab the wrist, hug the wrist, turn our head in towards the bad guy, wrap our arm over the bad guy's shoulder, touching the back. Bad guy lifts us up. We're going to buckle the knee, drive our arm, shuffle. From here, going to do a little paper cutter. Bad guy releases, and we come into side mount, chest to chest, one arm underneath the head, one underneath the hand, and legs out. We're still great. So with a little bit more detail here. So as the bad guy, let's go this way. As the bad guy from the starting position, he has the guillotine choke in place. We're gonna hook the bad guy's arm by just, like, go for one second, by just using a little thumbless grip right here, right over the wrist. And we're not using strength to try and hold the arm down, but if you try with that little thumbless grip in place, just try and tuck your elbow back. That's gonna allow you to have a little bit more force to keep the choke from actually choking you, okay? We're also gonna turn our head or turn our chin towards the bad guy. That way only one of our arteries is exposed to being compressed. And we're also gonna do what we call alligator neck. So you're just gonna kind of grind your teeth a little bit, and it's just gonna give us that 1 to 2 extra seconds of protection by kind of flexing our necks there, all right? So again, we have the thumbless grip in place around the neck, tucking our elbow down around our ribs, turn our head in towards the bad guy, little alligator neck. The hand on the opposite side of the choking arm is gonna reach over the shoulder and as far down on the back as possible,
I'm trying to get into his middle back here if I can. If you can only get over the shoulder, you can grab a little bit of shirt or fabric or coat if you need to, but if you can really reach deep, go ahead and do that. From there, the bad guy's most common reaction is going to be to try to apply the choke, which means he's going to lift up. As he does, and he lifts up, we're going to use that opportunity to get around the corner. So as the bad guy lifts up, I simply go with his motion and hop to the side opposite the choke. So his choking arm is the right side. I want to move to the left, okay? From there, let's rotate a little bit. From there, I'm going to use the knee on the side that I'm on to tap. I'm using my leg to tap right behind the bad guy's knee to kind of buckle that knee. He's leaning a little bit. I'm going to get the rest of the drive by taking this arm and driving him to the ground. As I do that, I'm going to do a little shuffle step. So I buckle, I drive, I shuffle. The hand around the back comes out to kind of stabilize myself. From here, let's rotate towards the hand. From here, this hand that has hold of the arm, the choking arm, still has that thumbless grip. The other hand is going to come across the throat. It's going to hook over the shoulder. My elbow is going to drive down to the ground, applying just a little bit of pressure.
That should be enough. It's not a choke, it's just like a forced compliance, right? Just providing enough pain.
That should be enough for the bad guy to release his choke. That hand that was grabbing the choking arm then comes underneath the arm. The other hand comes underneath the head, chest to chest, feet out. If you've had the side control class, which you guys have, Cora, if you've had side control, let's rotate a little bit. If you've had side control, just go into normal side control. One leg flat, the other one posted up by his head, and then drive forward.
All right, one more time. Yeah, let's do it this way. So, again, starting position. He gives us that indicator from a standing position. He wraps our head in a choke. We, again, first thing, we grab the wrist, thumbless grip, elbow to our ribs, giving us a little bit of extra leverage, and turn the chin in towards the bad guy. Opposite hand comes over the shoulder, grabs some fabric if you need to, if not, just right in the middle of the back. As the bad guy gives us that realistic action of trying to choke us, as he lifts us up, we simply go with it, hop to the side. Most important detail in here, if you remember nothing else about the choke, remember we go to the opposite side of the choke. If that's the only thing that you recall, go to the opposite side of the choke. Most common mistake here is going to be, after we chop the leg, the most common mistake is going to be forgetting to do the drive of the arm and the shuffle. So from here, we chop the leg, we drive, and we shuffle our feet. So most common mistake is simply falling instead of doing that shuffle. This hand then comes out. Let's rotate this way a little bit. This hand then comes across the bad guy's throat, anchors on his shoulder. Let up for 1 second. In order to get this kind of forced compliance, we need to be right across the throat. If we're on the side of the neck, it doesn't really hurt. Someone can push on the side of your neck and you can be relatively okay. So we need the bad guy's chin to be to be face up. If we find that his face or he's facing towards us, just make a little fist, drive his chin the other direction, then anchor your hand. That way your forearm is on his throat. That way when you do the paper cutter, it has a little bit of the pain element that we're looking for. You could also, if you want to be really mean, if that doesn't work, if you can't grind his chin, just punch him in the face, or from there, you can even knee him in the face to get that to turn. So whatever we need to really in the street to get our forearm across his throat.
So once we do that, we're still hugging with this hand, thumbless grip. I do a little paper cutter. He releases under the arm, under the head, chest to chest, and into that
positional control from the side. Oh, do you mind letting? Oh, he'll come around. It's lucky. He'll come around. Or not.
I'll just get it.
So when we do that, after we buckle the knee and do the drive, that shuffle move is kind of just two little side steps. Remember, we want to control the descent. We don't just want to fall because it hurts us and the bad guy. So once we do that buckle and drive, we want to shuffle like that. That hand can come out, then we can come to the knees like that. Okay? So let's go ahead and do you guys have any questions first? No? Corey, you have any questions? Nope, good. All right, so here's gonna be our drill for today, okay? Oh, let me tell you this, one thing. Bad guys, here's kind of your instructions, okay? When you have the guillotine choke, remember the ability to hop to the side is predicated on the bad guy in the street trying to apply the choke. So once you have the arm hooked and the arm over, bad guys, don't forget to kind of lift your partner up. That's going to allow them to jump to the side, okay? In the street, the bad guy's not just going to stand right here. He is going to try to apply that choke. And then safety tip, as the good guy, just remember shuffle, shuffle, and that hugging arm can come out for base. So our starting position or drill orders are going to be starting from the guillotine choke. We're going to start with the guillotine choke already applied. We're going to do 2 repetitions of the guillotine. No, let's do 4 repetitions of the guillotine defense, and then we'll switch roles, okay? If you guys have any questions, let me know. Remember, go slow for safety reasons. Cora, especially at home, probably don't have, super soft mats like we do here, so just be careful at home since you probably won't have as forgiving of a floor space, okay? All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Lucky, have you seen the guillotine defense before? Okay, all right, I'll let you pair up with Paul. Nice jump to the side, Cora. Good buckle, drive. Oh, I got to unmute you, Cora. Sorry. Cora, that was a very nice job. Very nice job hugging the choking arm. Good. And excellent job coming over to hug the back. Excellent. And since you're practicing with your dad, you can see how that size disadvantage on your part. Sometimes you may have to grab some of the shirt to be able to really anchor yourself on. That was very nicely done. Very nicely done. You want to try it again? Good hug. Nice, Cora. Nice buckle. Excellent shuffle. Drive that hand across the throat. Good. Little paper cutter elbow to the floor. Nice. I heard a little audible component to let me know that was working.
Real.
Nice.
Yeah, real.
Nicely done.
See the left side. See the thing, the pop around.
I swear you've seen them more than once.
Yeah.
Huh.
Hand over the top. Just hand up over my shoulder. Come on, pull your hand out. There you go. Yep. Shuffle.
So that means you probably should have had your stripes.
Yep. No, it's fine. I apologize. Oh, okay.
Here, one thing I did forget to mention, if I'm the bad guy, once I get taken to the ground, and I have the guillotine choke in place, as that forearm comes through and begins to chop across my neck, the good guy's weight might trap my hand. So if that's the case, you can't sometimes say tap, tap, or let go or anything, and you can't release that arm. You might have to tap the bad guy with your foot or slap your foot to let them know to stop the choke. And then they might have to relieve the pressure a little bit for you to be able to pull that hand completely out. Something I forgot to mention. Just a little added safety tip. Corey, how do you feel about that one?
Good.
Good? You looked good. I'm going to turn up my volume. Oh, it is all the way up here. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
No? All right. Looked very nice on your reps there. One second, Cora. Cora, I forgot your last name. Can you mind giving it to me? What is it?
Sturm, S-T-U-R-M.
Thank you very much. I'm just pulling your card out. Okay. I got you here. All right. Just want to make sure we gave you credit. That's all right. You got lucky. All right. Alex and Val, do you guys have any questions? Any problems you ran into? Anything that felt weird, uncomfortable? Anything like that? Nope. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to our ground technique, which is called the hook sweep. Now, anytime that we are in a fight and find ourselves on our back, we always want to have, if the opponent's going to be standing above us, we always want to have our feet between us and the bad guy. Now, if the bad guy is leaning forward, we call this stage 4, something that we cover in detail in a later class. But it simply means my feet are on the bad guy's hips. I just am holding him away. If the bad guy is pressing all his weight forward and he's trying to punch me, I want to bring him down into what we call stage 1. All right. If the bad guy is standing up, but he doesn't have any weight towards me, he's just standing up above me. If I go to bring him back, he's still going to stand there. So I want to then, when he doesn't provide any weight on me, I want to go to what we call stage 5, also covered in a future class. Kick him away, make him respect this distance. All right. Now there may be on occasion where we're in stage 4, he's giving us a little bit of weight, but he'll modify his stance a little bit to get a little bit better of base. He's not punching on us or punching at us. He's giving us weight, but he has a little bit of a base here that doesn't allow me also to bring him down. If I were to bring my legs back in, he could just kind of follow at his own pace, knock me out with a big, powerful punch, right? Now, what the bad guy doesn't realize is when he puts that foot forward and modifies the base like that, he gives us a chance to do tonight's ground technique, which is called the hook sweep. And we'll show you what it looks like once here. So from here, the indicator, we're in stage 4, bad guy steps forward with one of those legs. Oh. Boom.
Yeah, he just got knocked down really
No, little,
That'll be a safety tip. So, in order to execute that move, we're going to do a review of what we call stage 4 of the punch block, which I know you guys have all already seen. So, all stage 4 is bad guy standing up. My feet are going to be on his hips in a seatbelt fashion here. My hands are going to be up protecting me, making my knees point out to the side. And the bad guy is just going to lean forward. As he leans forward, I now have a lot of control, and because of my punch protection, I have the ability to resist these punches. And if I need to, when the time is right, I can slowly lower him. Into stage 1, crossing the feet, you guys know head and arm control and head close, okay? So, when we're in stage 4, again, our feet are pointed out to the sides, all right? They're not up and down, pointed out to the sides. And because
Paul has some pretty long arms, and he can get, if he leans towards me and throws a punch, he might be able to reach out and maybe smack me or catch me with a fingernail, or if he has something in his hands, that gives him a little bit of extra reach, right? Yeah. Whip out your sword. Just don't carve a Z in my face. So for that reason, because someone who has long arms might be able to reach us from there, our hands go up for protection, palms over the back of our head, elbows out like this, all right? Now, if we have to bring him back into stage 1, we're simply going to, from here, just slowly lower him down at whatever pace. I'm just doing, exaggerating to show how much control we have. Bring him in, one leg can come off, then the other, cross him up, head control, arm control. Now, the reason that we don't, from when the bad guy's in stage 4, the reason we don't put our feet up like this is slightly more comfortable for me, but he can toss my feet off to the side. He just has to turn his hips. He didn't even have to touch my hands. He can just turn his hips. And if I'm pushing away, my feet are going to slide right off. All right. And bigger reason is if I have my feet just up and down, if I go to drop him in, I can only get so far before I start to crush myself. Now right here, it's very uncomfortable, and he's not even close to being all the way down. If I were to spread my legs, he's going to fall straight on my face. All right. But with my feet turned to the side, it allows my legs to come down much, much lower. And right here, I'm still comfortable. I can still talk just fine. I'm not being crushed, even though he's all the way down. So essential detail for stage 4 is to have that seatbelt hook or seatbelt positioning on his hips. If I can control his hips, I can control Paul. I can make him turn just by moving my feet around on his hips. Most common mistake in stage 4 is dropping or don't lean forward yet. If I have him in stage 4, most common mistake is simply opening up my legs and allowing him to fall. So essential detail, the foot position in the seatbelt, and then the slow lower as he comes in. As he comes in, one hand can come up to block from punches. The other one can be here. As he gets really low, you can either chicken wing the arm or cup the back of the tricep and head around the hand, or hand around the head and then head close. If a little Henry Gracie pro tip, I see him do this all the time, and I absolutely love it. If they're punching, respect the punch. But if you fear a headbutt, as you're bringing the bad guy in, you can protect from the punch initially, but as you protect from the punch, you can then take the hand that's protecting the punch, slip it, bring it across the border, and protect your face in case the bad guy accidentally, whether it's an uncontrolled drop or this guy's just being a real butt and wants to headbutt you. You can protect your face from the headbutt. So it's not something, the protection from punches is the most important thing to take away from it. That's just a little detail that if you're wanting to try and sharpen up, or you think, oh, maybe my lowering of the bad guy, maybe I dropped him too fast, do that. It'll make you feel a little bit better about dropping that bad guy in. Cora, any questions about that? No? Alex, Annabelle? No? Okay. So what we're going to do for this drill is we're going to start from stage 1, where then our bad guys can just put his hands on the floor, step up, and go to stage 4, okay? So we're going to go from stage 1 to stage 4. We're going to have the bad guy do 2 or 3 swings. Then we're going to slowly lower back down to stage 1. And we're going to repeat that 2 times. So 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 1. And then we'll switch roles, okay? All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Good bad guy behavior, Dad. Good feet positioning, Cora. Nice. Good head protection. Slowly lower him back down.
Try again. Try again. There you go.
Lower, lower. Good. Controlled drop. Head. Yes. Excellent job, Cora. Now, Cora, there's a tremendous size disadvantage that you have going on right now. And you can see how well you're able to control that descent of the bad guy by proper leg positioning. Excellent job. Excellent job. Beautiful. Love control drop. That little face protection is one of my favorite things.
I'm already down, so ready for yeah. Block them. There you go. Good.
Yeah.
Ready?
Good control lower. Nice and controlled. Safe. Excellent.
My legs. That was too fast. Lock me up. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Good. Everybody's good. I see everybody doing a real nice, slow, controlled descent. I love the head protection everybody's got. Outside of just an opening of the legs, just an uncontrolled descent. Probably lack of head protection next biggest mistake. But I see everybody doing those two things. Excellent job. Love it. All right. So before we go to the hook sweep, we're going to practice how to fall, because we're going to get an opportunity to be, of course, the bad guy, and especially Cora and your dad at home, falling on that little harder of a surface. This will be important to you. So we're going to practice our break falls real quick, okay? So to do it, I'll show you what a break fall looks like. I think everybody's probably seen them, especially since you've had this class before. But if not, I'll just show it to you real quick, and then we'll break it down in a little bit of detail, all right? So when I fall, and I don't want to just fall, boom, fall flat on my back. Also don't want to put my hands out. So if I fall with my hands out like that, we have had a student break their arm from just the impact of having their kind of elbow hyperextended, okay? So when we fall, we want to fall kind of in a rolling motion, and we slap the ground to help dissipate some of that force, all right? So to break fall, all we're going to do is tuck our chin, and we can cross our hands if you'd like to. They can be down to your side, but most commonly we talk about crossing our hands. So we tuck our chin, cross our hands. We do a little bit of a squat as close to the ground as we can get, and instead of just falling flat on our back, when we're in the squatting position, we kind of roll. Our backs are kind of arched. So as we roll, our chin is still tucked, and then we slap the mat as we come down, okay? So one more time, got our chin tucked, arms crossed. We're squatting as low as we can. We're rolling, slapping the mat, making sure our chin is up and tucked into our chest, because if not, let's pretend that this is the street and that's concrete. The slightest little whack of the head, you could be out if we don't know how to fall, okay? So we're gonna try that a few times together. So everybody stand up. Make sure that we're not close enough to a wall. We don't have to worry about anybody being behind us. So we're gonna do a few break falls here. So everybody stand up. We're gonna go ahead and tuck our chin to our chest, cross our hands. We're gonna squat down, okay? We're gonna roll back, slap the mat. Perfect, yes. Everybody back up. Let's do 3 of these a piece, okay? All right, at your pace, 3 of them on your pace. Ready? Good. Now, at Gracie University, their headquarters, their mats are really super soft. They have this vinyl on them. So when you slap them, it makes this thud. It just sounds cool. When you see somebody do a move and you hear boom, oh, I did that. No, they were just brake foam, but still, it sounds kind of cool. All right, we're going to move on to our hook sweep. So Paul, if you'll be my bad guy here. So we talked about in the little introduction there that when we're in stage 4 here, the bad guy's leaning all of his weight on us, we bring him home. If they don't give us any weight at all, we send them back, send them to stage 5, make them respect the space. If we're in stage 4 and he modifies that base to where if we were to retract, he's not coming in, that's our indicator for hook sweep. Our bad guy's in stage 4 and he has a modified base with one of these feet forward, okay? All we're gonna do from here is hook the forward leg, hook the other leg, foot's on the hip, head protection, and we're just going to push, and that's where we're gonna stop for this particular slice, okay? Let's go this way. So again, starting position for this technique.
You want to skip more that way?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I mean,
Starting position for this technique is going to be from stage 4. Indicator is going to be bad guy modifies his base, puts one leg forward. Whatever leg is forward, we're going to hook that leg with the same side hand with a monkey grip, a thumbless grip, not a thumb full grip, but a thumbless grip. We hook right about right at the ankle. So we've got a thumbless grip here around that ankle. The opposite side foot comes in and hooks underneath the bad guy's or right behind the bad guy's knee. And in doing the hook, we kind of flex our toes or calf, I guess. We don't leave it straight out like that. We kind of flex it to be able to get a good hook behind it. And we have what I call a sticky hook. It's not just lazy and hook behind there, because if the bad guy moves that leg and my hook is lazy, he can just kind of pull it right out. But if this hooking leg kind of pulls forward a little bit, I can stay sticky on his leg. So even if he tries to pull it back, if he tries to go forward, I can kind of have it in there like that, all right? The foot on the same side is the forward leg is just gonna remain on his hip. I have my opposite hand up just for a little punch protection, just in case, never hurts. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to push with the foot that's on his hip. I'm simply gonna thrust him backwards. Now I'm not kicking him straight up, and I'm not kicking him straight back. I don't want to launch him to the moon. I just want to, it does not take very much pressure to get Paul, if I have both of his legs trapped, to fall. I'm just barely pushing. You can see he's already leaning. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a thrust here. Just going to push him back, and he's going to go down. All right. Let's go this way. So again, starting from stage 4, starting point, he's going to give us the indicator. I wrap with a thumbless grip. The reason that we don't use a full C grip is if I were to use a full C grip, the weak part of my grip is where my thumb and fingers meet. If I grab him with the C grip here, the easiest part of the escape is for him simply to move his leg back. If I do a thumbless grip, he's pulling right into the strongest part of my grip. So that's why we use a C or a thumbless over a C grip. So we hook that forward leg with the monkey grip. Our other opposite leg comes in, hooks behind, sticky hook. It's engaged, trying to, if the bad guy goes to move, I make sure that that stays on. Other foot remains on his hip for a little bit of a thrust, hand up like this. Again, the most important detail or essential detail here is ensuring that both the legs are hooked. This won't work, because if I push this hip, they'll simply step back. So making sure that both legs are trapped is going to be our essential detail here, okay? And then probably most common mistake is using a thumb full grip, because it feels kind of natural just to grab somebody's ankle like that versus the monkey. So make sure that you're using a thumbless grip there. And if you need to, say my legs are kind of short, so sometimes it might be difficult to, with this thrusting leg, it might be too extended. So if I try to push right here, I'm already extended as far out as I can. So if you find yourself in that position,
with both your hooks in, simply use both those hooks to scoot yourself forward. Scoot your butt towards the forward leg and even rest your butt on their foot. That way, that foot is really trapped. Then once you're in position, then you can just get the little kick and down they go. All right. A little bit of a safety tip here. Bad guy reminder first. I'll show it with the bad guy once so you can get a little bit of revenge. Come back this way for me a little bit. So I'm in stage 4. I'm the bad guy here. I do my little modify. Paul goes ahead, sets up the move. Bad guy, don't try to defeat the technique, but also don't go down easy either. When they get you all set up, they got your legs hooked, try and stay standing up. Don't, kick out and do crazy stuff, but try and stand up. Make sure that they have both those legs trapped. So when you push, you're really falling, okay? And then the safety tip here is this foot, let's rotate a little bit. The foot that's hooking the leg, if you don't kick with enough force, as you fall, I might sit and crush that foot. So as the good guy, whenever you push, make sure you give enough of a push to make me land far enough out that I don't crush that foot, okay? So for drill orders, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start from stage 4, all right? Bad guy's gonna give the indicator of stepping one of the feet forward. You can try it on either side, doesn't matter, just whatever side you try it on, perfect it on that side first before you move on to the opposite side. But from stage 4, bad guy's gonna give us the indicator, step forward, let's do 3 repetitions of the hook sweep. And then once you get them down, that's where we'll stop and we'll pick up the next slice there, all right? On 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, Cora, let's see it. Nice stage 4 foot positioning. Bad guy's gonna step one of those feet forward. Good. Nice hook. Opposite leg hooks the other. Yes, beautiful hook, Cora. Nice. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Cora, I love the sticky hook. I could see your foot. You're hooking the leg you were using to hook his leg. I could see it flex. It was perfect. Dad, I could see you give a little bit of a struggle too to check it. That's an excellent bad guy. Nice job. Very nice job. Let me see it again. Good. Good hook.
But then if you can visualize, you kick me far enough away. And then you would come in for that.
Yes. Now really try to stay face down. Yep.
It's a lot harder when they do it.
Good.
Especially if it's a rash guard.
It does not take much. Once they have both those legs trapped, it just takes a little bit of a push for you to start to lose your balance. That's why that's why hooking of those 2 legs is such a critical component, or essential detail, as they say.
Yeah, you should probably not do that.
Excellent job. I loved what I saw there. If I talked about it real briefly, just as a little addendum, if the bad guy, if I got the hooks in here and I'm already set up, this will work. What makes it even easier is if the bad guy, if I have my sticky hook engaged and he goes to try and pull this leg out and sticky hook, now he only has one leg to stand on. When I give that little thrust, that other leg that he's standing on becomes really light, and I can just give a little bit of a pull, and the leg will go down with some force. So if the bad guy is trying to resist, and maybe we don't get it right away, and he's trying to pull this leg out, and I got the sticky hook, it's super easy just to give him a little pop with that leg up, and then he goes down really hard. But I liked everybody's sticky hooks. Everybody seemed like they were being a good bad guy, trying to resist but not falling easy, letting you feel that the technique really works, okay? All right, so we're gonna move on to our base get up before we do our sweep follow-up. So we need to learn how to get up in base, and again,
everybody I know has probably seen the base get up thus far, but we're going to review it real quick. I'm going to throw a couple variations at you that you can play around with and see which one you like better. So the standard base get up is simply one leg tucked, the other flat-footed in front of you, kind of creating this little triangle. The hand on the same side is the leg that's on the ground, goes by that hip. And all we're going to do, the opposite hand can come up here if you want. We're going to, using the posted foot and the posted hand, we're simply going to lift our hips up off the ground, rotate kind of face downwards. Then the leg that was on the ground is going to step by that posted foot. From here, we then can stand up and we got a nice stable base. All right. So again, one leg down, one leg up, posted on the ground, that foot. Hand on the same side as the down leg goes by the hip. We're going to, using the foot and the hand, lift our hips up off the ground, rotate towards the ground, step near the posted foot, and then stand up. Most common mistake here is pulling the hand off the ground before the foot hits the ground. We always want to have 2 points of contact at minimum. So this is what it would look like if you're doing it wrong. You would get up, you go here, but then you go to take your hand off the ground. Now I'm tippable in that direction. So do not take this hand off the ground until that foot's planted and I'm kind of in that stable base. The other variation to that is using 2 hands instead of 1. This is my personal favorite because it's fast and Paul, stand right there for me. Actually, stand right here so everybody can see. So with this normal base get up version, I'm still in the same proximity from Paul. But with the 2-handed version, the only difference, both hands go down by the hip. Then I can shoot back. I can take kind of like a little hop back. Now I've increased the distance between me and Paul. So depending upon the technique that I'm doing, I might want to create a little bit of extra distance. So that's the advantage of the 2-hand, is it allows me to get up quick and I can create some space. The last variation, thank you. The last variation is, I don't think it's called name. I'm just going to call it the kneeling variation. If we're kneeling, we still want to get up and base, but it doesn't make any sense to go from a kneeling position to this, to do this. So we call the idea behind it, building the house. So from a kneeling position, my either hands or fists can go to the ground in between my knees, and I simply hop my feet out. You can see the little house. Here's the walls, there's the roof, and from there, I can stand up. So you have one of those 3 variations that you can use. Doesn't matter which one, whichever one is preferable. Let's go through 1 rep apiece on each of those, see which one works for you, okay? So we'll just do, I'll call it the standard base get up first. Just, you can have the hand, the opposite, the hand that's not posted, you can have it out for a little deflection if you want, or it can be around the knee, it doesn't matter. I kind of like this depending upon what move I'm going to use. So we'll just do the standard base get up once, boom. We can try the 2-handed, see how you like that, good. And then we can try the kneeling variation, build the house, hands, fists, doesn't matter, jump the feet out, up and base. All right, so we're going to go through the last slice right now. It's called the sweep follow-up. So we're going to assume that we're in stage 4. I've already got Paul to the ground. Boom. Now I need to do a follow-up from here. So I'm on the ground. I'm simply going to rock up, preferably on this. Actually, let me switch. Sorry. I'm preferably going to rock up on the side of my thumbless hook. Okay. It's not that if you come up on the other side, it's wrong. It's just that it's not that right. It's just a little bit more efficient since this hand is already on the ground to rock up on that side. So we're going to rock up. We already land in kind of a base. So if my legs are like this, I just got done kicking. You can see how if I rock up, I naturally come to that base get up position. I like, in this case, I like to use the hand out to protect, because if Paul's got long legs and I'm not paying attention,
I can get kicked. So I like to have that out for a little added protection. That hand comes out behind, close to the hip. I do my lift, turn, stand up. Now from here, I have to analyze what the bad guy's doing, all right? If he's just laying on the ground and he slowly starts to get up, I can circle to the side. Once I get to the side of him, one hand goes to the outside shoulder, the other one goes to the inside hip. Boom, I hit him. I hit him, and then I do a reverse push-up. The reason that I do that is if I just stay like this and try to come to my knees, he might be strong enough to come up. But if I have all my weight on him, I don't care how strong you are, you're not sitting up. From there, we just go into the normal side mount position. I think I might have got out of frame for a quarter on that one. So we'll pretend again that gotten the hook sweep in. Maybe this time I'm a little bit close. I didn't kick him far enough away. So when I come up, boom, his foot's right there. So this hand comes out. Base get up, boom. Maybe I could even use this would be a great time to use the two. Boom, created a little bit of a distance. From here, I circle to one side. As soon as the bad guy, even as he's thinking about getting up, I rush in, one hand to the outside shoulder, one hand into the hip, chest to chest, push him down into the side mount. Now, if you're feeling you want to challenge yourself, I don't recommend it in a fight, but here if you want to challenge yourself, or maybe the bad guy is a little bit out of it, but his feet are still active. From here, if he's got active feet, you can grab an ankle, grab a piece of pant or something if you need to. Simply drag the foot out of the way, keep hold of this, come down. Now, not my first choice, just because now I'm having to get close to a foot. But if the bad guy happens to be leg active, you can grab hold of that ankle. Just make sure you pull it to the opposite side. Keep hold of it. That way it can't come back. Another little piece. Whenever, for the drill, we're going to go ahead. Oh, I don't want to do that. Yes. So here's going to be our drill orders, okay? We're going to start in stage 4. We're going to start in stage 4. We're going to go ahead and execute the hook sweep, okay? We're going to do our base get up. Bad guys, I want you to remain laying down until our good guy has a chance to get up in base and to kind of get in position. From there, the bad guy can begin to sit up. Then our good guys can come in, shoulder and hip, do the reverse push-up and side mount. Now, bad guys, I want you to sit up without putting your hands back, because when the good guy comes in, you could hyperextend your elbows from being locked out. So when you sit up, I want you just to sit up. Don't even use your elbow. Just kind of sit up like this. You'll just kind of rock up. That way, nobody gets their elbows hurt. And then once we're done, I'll show you a little trick. If in the street, a bad guy were to happen to do that, how to negate that, okay? So, starting from stage 4, let's go ahead and execute 2 repetitions each of the hook sweep, and then the hook sweep follow-up, okay? All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice stage 4, Cora. Good indicator recognition. Nice hooks. Good. Nice rock up. Good base get up. Yes. Very, very nice. Nice job all around, Cora. Nice job. Good hooks. Nice resistance. Good bad guy. Good to the shoulder. Nice reverse push up. Excellent side mount. Excellent side mount. Nicely done. Love the foot position.
low hips. Well done. Yes, good base get up.
Just from this position.
Nice. Excellent side mount. Beautiful reverse push up. And now, what I'll show you here in a second about maybe getting up on the elbow. Will kind of address the trick. But excellent. If they just go to rock up like that, nothing they can do. They're not powerful enough. Nobody is to resist someone's weight like that. So very nicely done. All right. I'm going to show you guys, like I said before, in here we have safety in mind, which is why I say as the bad guy, we want to rock up instead of coming up like this or with the arm posted out like that. That would be relatively normal for someone to do in the street. But if we catch them right as soon as, if we're already prepared, when we catch them as soon as they start to come up, they don't have enough time to use those elbows or that hand. But if we're late and that problem does get introduced, we can still kind of force them down, but that's not jujitsu. It's not using leverage and timing. That'd be using strength, and that's not what jiu-jitsu is about. So if, for argument's sake, the bad guy were late and he does get an elbow up like that, okay? So I've come around the side, he's up like that. I got my hand on a hip and a shoulder. I'm trying to push. He's not going down. Simply, let's rotate a little bit. Simply take the hand that's on the shoulder, cup his tricep, and yank it out. That's it. All of his weight is on that elbow. As soon as you give it just the slightest little tug, they're going down. And it works for both. If they were to be up on both, I can, from there, I can just go to a knee, yank this one, and that one's gonna typically be enough. But if I need to, I can also yank the other one to go down. So if we're a little bit late, don't worry. Keep the pressure on, especially the hip pressure. Keep that hand there and just pluck that elbow out from underneath him or that arm, whatever it may be, and they'll go down. From the hook sweep, they're going to be so disoriented that we're going to have a few seconds to, like I said, analyze from our sweep follow-up what's going on. Are they completely out of it? In which case, there may not even be any need for a follow-up. Are their legs active? We have a few moments. So keep that in mind. Corey, did you have any questions about today? No? Alex, anybody, you guys have any questions, anything like that? Okay, so we'll wrap up. So for our standing technique for today, does anybody recall the name? Yes. Guillotine defense, standing guillotine defense, either one. So again, number one goal, avoid the punch. Stay away. But when you close that distance, if we happen to make a mistake with our head positioning, or like we talked about, it's not uncommon for a bad guy to try and wrap our head. If they wrap our head, no problem. Just remember to tuck the chin, hug the arm to give us a few seconds. From there, most important detail, if you forget everything about guillotine defense, what's the number one thing to remember? Hook the shoulder is one of them. Run to the opposite side of the choke. If nothing else, if you get to the opposite side of the choke, life is infinitely better, even if it takes a little bit of a struggle to get it to the ground. So once we run to the opposite side of the choke, we can then take it to the ground, and from there, we can go into side mount as a control strategy. For the hook sweep, remember, when we're on the ground, on our back, if the bad guy's standing above us, our number one, if he's giving us weight, bring him back to stage one. Bring him home. Control him. Let him exhaust himself. If he's not giving us any weight, kick him out. Kick him to stage 5. Get him away. Make him respect that space. But if he's giving you a little bit of weight and he presents that little modified base where he steps forward, there's our indicator. Hook sweep, get the fight back to the ground. A little sweep follow-up. We can, when we go to the side, reverse push up, make him carry our weight. If the legs are a little bit active, remember we can grab that pant, grab that foot, throw it to the side, and still come in for the side mount, okay? Announcements, I know that this Saturday is service Saturday, so no classes Saturday morning. It's English Landing Park, trash pickup. I'm not sure on the time, but I think if you check the schedule, okay. I want to say it's maybe around 9 o'clock. If you show up at 9 o'clock and pick up trash on your own, you'll just earn a little bit more goodwill from your parents and any of the other park goers. And also, since we're after Memorial Day, you can now wear either a Gracie t-shirt, kick t-shirt, rash guard. You don't have to wear your gi, but as BJ said the other day in class, I always like to keep mine with me, even if I'm not going to wear it in class, just in case. But you no longer need to wear a gi top from this date forward, I think until Labor Day in September. So that's all I have for you guys, unless you have any questions about anything I talked about. Oh, Cora's just waving by. Bye, Cora. Thank you for coming. We will see you next time, okay? Big thumbs up. Thank you. Alex, Annabelle, thank you guys very much for coming today. All right? You guys are dismissed.
You got more lotion?
Nice job today, girls.
It's hot, not hot. It's for summer.
Did they get you up with